This video we're gonna talk about the greatest all-wheel drive JDM cars of all time. All-wheel drive might not be the first thing to come to mind when thinking about JDM cars, but truth be told, some of history's greatest all-wheel drive cars just happen to be Japanese. In fact, some of the world's most legendary rally cars also happen to be Japanese. Mitsubishi Galant VR4. The Galant VR4 is the predecessor to the legendary Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. This model was manufactured in order to comply with the World Rally Championship's Group A regulations. The Group A regulations required at least 5,000 sales of the vehicle which should be entered in the Group A rally. Other regulations included maximum engine displacement of 2 liters and 4-wheel drive. At the time, Mitsubishi did not really have a good enough engine to enter with in the VRC, so they developed a completely new one. And that engine is still to this day considered as one of the best engines ever produced. I'm talking about, of course, the 4G63T. This was a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 and thanks to its iron block was capable of handling a high amount of horsepower. It was also considerably lightweight and produced, even in stock form, a respectable 237 horsepower. But the engine wasn't the only thing which made the VR4 great. Mitsubishi decided to show off their entire arsenal, packing the VR4, bear in mind this is 1987, and they introduced their first 4-wheel steering system. On top of that, they had all-around independent suspension, and they also utilized their own dynamic electronic controlled suspension, which at the time was unheard of. And of course, Mitsubishi put a lot of capital into the development of the VR4. In the end, it paid off. The Galant VR4 was a huge success, both the street and rally version. And as regulations changed for the World Rally Championship regulations, the Galant eventually came to be the new Mitsubishi Evolution launcher. Toyota Celica GT4. Just like the Galant VR4, the Toyota Celica GT4 was purely manufactured as a homologation special vehicle in order for Toyota to enter the World Rally Championship. The GT4 came in 3 generations, starting with the ST165, following by the ST185 and ST205, whereas the ST185 had the most success in the World Rally Championship. The Celica GT4 was powered by the 3S GTE engine, which was a 2-liter inline-4 turbo engine and produced in the ST165 185 horsepower, moving all the way up to 252 horsepower in the JDM version of the ST205. The Celica also featured a permanent 4-wheel drive system and came available with a 5-speed manual transmission. Looking back, the Celica GT4 has become really special for Toyota, but perhaps also on behalf of all Japanese brands. Historically, the European brands had dominated the World Rally Championships, and the Japanese brands basically participated just for show, up until Toyota entered with the Celica GT4. The Celica GT4 was the first ever all-wheel drive Japanese manufactured car to win a World Rally Championship. The Celica sat as an example to other Japanese manufacturers that it was possible to beat the domination of the European brands. In fact, the Celica GT4 managed to win 4 championships and is often considered to be the most successful Japanese rally car of all times. Subaru Impreza. Perhaps the most famed rally car of all, the Impreza has had an impressive rally history with many wins under its belt. Subaru put a lot of capital into developing the ultimate rally car. And it gave results. The Subaru handled exceptionally well, and thanks to its balanced four-wheel drive system was surprisingly easy to maneuver. Its 2-liter turbocharged flat-4 engine produced around 280 horsepower and seemed to perform slightly better than of the competitor's inline-4. Fitted with that was a 6-speed manual transmission and of course Subaru's famous four-wheel drive system. Drivers such as Richard Burns, Per Eklund and Colin McRae saw great success with Impreza. Over McRae's career with the Subaru Impreza, he saw over 16 rally victories as well as a World Rally Championship win in 1995. The Impreza continued seeing success in the VRC up until 2008 when Subaru decided to withdraw from competing in the World Rally Championship. Nissan Skyline GTR. Named Godzilla by the Australian motoring press, the Skyline GTR was, as some would say, next level. Not only was the GTR powered by the legendary RB26 engine, the power was put down with Nissan's advanced four-wheel drive system, known as the Atessa ETS. And although not being used for rallying, the Skyline GTR entered and won many different circuit races.
The Sierra dab of the brakes. At the moment though, Jim has spread eagled the field. He's opened the gap up to 32.5 seconds. And no matter which way you look at it, that is a huge lead. Jim.
In Japan, the R32 GTR entered the Japanese Touring Car Championship, and out of the 29 races it entered, it won all 29. This goes to show how insanely good the GTR actually was. But that's not all. Between 1990 and 1992, the GTR completely destroyed the opposition in both the Group A Championship, winning 3 times in a row, and the Bathurst 1000 twice. However, the success of the GTR would eventually become its own demise. Due to its clearly superior four-wheel drive system, instant power and low weight, the Nissan GTR was banned in 1992 from the Group A Championships.